A major defeat for President Trump's economic agenda. The Supreme Court ruling the president does not have the authority to impose some of his sweeping global tariffs, a decision set to have a massive impact potentially on the economy here at home and also around the world as well. Let's bring in our senior legal correspondent, Laura Jarrett. I know you're sifting through the decision right now. 6-3 decision.
Yep.
What have we been able to glean so far?
Yeah, it's a 6-3 decision, Craig, but we should mention Chief Justice Roberts, Justice Gorsuch, Justice Barrett also joining the progressives here in a major blow to the centerpiece of the president's economic agenda. The High Court today is saying the president essentially overstepped his authority, trying to invoke a law that had never been used before by a president in this way, a statute that says nothing about tariffs, nothing about taxes, and the High Court saying he does not have the authority to do this. This is typically a matter that has been left up to Congress. Every court that looked at this before had said the president had gone too far and said essentially this is a matter for Congress that can delegate some authority to the president, but not all, and certainly not in the sweeping way that he tried to do it. The big question now, what happens to all the money that has been paid by these companies over the last year? Remember, these were a series of tariffs done by executive order. You see the president's there at the Oval Office announcing these tariffs against virtually all of our trading partners. He used a variety of different mechanisms to try to do it. The court was only looking at one specific mechanism that he used under this Emergency Powers Act, right? And that's the one that I mentioned doesn't say anything about tariffs or taxes. It talks about regulating imports. But the courts that have looked at this before have said essentially regulating imports is not a tax. Doing taxes is for Congress, and therefore he went too far. Again, we're talking about over $130 billion that has been paid by these companies over the last several weeks. You see there the breakdown of the justices again. Chief Justice Roberts, Justice Gorsuch, Justice Barrett, all appointed, Justice Gorsuch and Barrett, I should say, appointed by President Trump, now ruling against him in this major, major blow to the president's agenda.
Laura, how much of a surprise is this, considering what you heard from the justices in terms of their questioning during the oral arguments and what you heard from the plaintiffs and the government?
We knew that they were skeptical at oral argument. They sort of previewed, just based on the text alone, their skepticism there. We just didn't know exactly what the breakdown would be, how they would line up. You know, it's never clear based on oral argument. Are they testing or are they sort of previewing? Again, we'll have to read through this carefully to see just all the implications of what comes next for these companies, what the president does going forward here, using other authorities. I mentioned the White House has suggested he would do that. Right. He has done that when it comes to some tariffs, but at least using this Emergency Powers Act, the court has said he has gone too far.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.